Hi, sixth grade. So this video is kind of following up your note-taking that you've done. And you just started talking about sedimentary rock, sediment, and then weathering and erosion. And this video clip is going to be really short and sweet. I just wanted to kind of clarify and give you a little bit more information about sediment and explain to you why you might see sedimentary rocks that, while it might be sandstone, they can look completely different from one another. So first of all, we're talking about sedimentary rocks. And so the whole question is, what is sediment? So you should be able to say to yourself right now, answer the question, what is sediment? Because that was covered in your notes. So if you can't, I want you to go back and look up that answer right now. So if you're looking it up, you should see that sediment is just small solid pieces of material that come from rock or living things. So we have these huge rock formations right here. This is El Capitan. It's a huge igneous rock formation. And then this one over here, it's just some random sedimentary rock formation, probably somewhere out west in the United States. So when we're looking at this, we are just getting little tiny pieces of this rock, or bones or shells from animals that have died, or even plant remains. Those are all, when we get them broken down into small solid little pieces, that's what a sediment's going to be. So we can actually break this down, and we have a lot of different types of sediment that we can look at. And what's really nice is this shows you the whole size-wise. So right now, I want you to go pull out a ruler so that you can actually see for yourself how large these grain sizes can actually be. And so if we're looking at this rock right here, it's a little piece. This is called conglomerate. If we're looking at this, what you're actually going to be able to see, if I were to take my ruler and hold it up, I'm going to measure one of the pieces of sediment that are making it up. And one of them are actually only like 0.5 centimeters. So when I look here, 0.5, this would actually be considered medium sand, or we could say coarse sand, which isn't that crazy, because if you go back and get rock number 14 off the back counter, that's our conglomerate rock, and you actually look at the size of the sediment that's making up this rock here, it's just insane to think that that would actually be classified as the size of sand, because when we're thinking of sand, a lot of times we're thinking of fine sand. So just get your ruler and kind of play with some of the different sizes. What we're seeing that a lot of our rocks, looking at the different size, we have a lot of things that actually fall into sand. And one type of rock is sandstone. And what I really want you to pay attention to and make some observations of is how different sandstone can really look. So this one right here, here's sandstone, and this has more of a coarse sand to it, whereas we get down to a medium sand with this sandstone here. So I'm going to try to get it close up. I don't know if my camera's going to focus. We really can't pick out the individual grains as much. It almost looks like they're like kind of the size of a pin. And then we also have this sandstone here, where I couldn't pick out the individual grains, which means that this has a no visible grain. The other thing that we're looking at, even getting smaller than sand, is we're moving down to silt and clay. So a lot of times that no visible grain we might see with like limestone, siltstone. And so some examples would be shale. So here's an example of shale where there's no visible grain. So we can't see the things that are making it up. With our lithographic limestone, here's an example of that. We're going to see, you know, that's made up of a lot of clay and silt. We don't have a lot of sediments that we can actually see. So I just wanted to kind of show you that we can actually, we actually call each one of these by a certain name. And just one other picture here, the sediment, they add a few different ones like boulders and cobbles. They take it a little bit larger. You see that their sizes are just a little bit different. But what's funny is that boulders, which are these huge things, 256 millimeters and up, are actually considered sediment, because, you know, if we're looking at this huge mountain or this cliff, we can actually get a solid piece of rock breaking off, and that would technically fulfill the definition of what a sediment is. So, where does the sediment come from? That's going to be our next question, and that's going to be our kind of next short video clip and what your labs on weathering and erosion are going to be all about.